Oh my god, it's a podcast.
Whoa, fucking hell. Calm down.
We just pressed record because we were discussing off camera. There's two mics in Twin Peaks. Yeah, we're talking about Twin Peaks again.
Yeah.
There's one armed mic and then there's young mic, and we're trying to work out, this might be the only thing we've worked out where there's something that clearly is quite connected in Twin Peaks where there doesn't actually seem to be a connection, but we've just started doing David Lynch impressions. Like, why is there two Michaels in the same reality? Oh, are you Googling it now?
Yeah, okay, so Mike in Twin Peaks.
This has just become a Twin Peaks theory podcast now.
Yeah,
and then there's the Twin Peaks practical. What's you just Googled?
I'm just Googling young Mike. And yeah, no, there's this football Mike.
Yeah, there's football Mike who, spoilers, ends up sleeping with Nadine for a bit, which is mental.
That's part of the big swathe that's okay to skip. That it's okay to skip that bit.
Yeah, but I think that was kind of fun. When I first watched it, I did not like it. When I go back and watch it now, I think it's kind of amazing that Nadine is just kind of like, Mike's just going along with it. There's all sorts of older blokes trying to sleep with younger women. And so David Lynch was like, let's make this equality.
Yeah, there's all sorts of older blokes trying to sleep with younger women, such as David Lynch.
His character.
Also, I don't know a lot about his personal life. He might be happily married, but he has an eye for a certain type of lady.
The other thing we should talk about is that both James and I, since the last podcast record, have got haircuts
and hair transplants. We've been to Turkey.
Have you ever seen someone who's had that done?
Dude,
after they've got it done, I was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And like, he was like, "Yeah, I'm great." I was like, "What happened?" They've been in a fire, and they were like, "No, I've been to Turkey and got my hair done."
So you see, like,
have you just been to a barista? Like, did you nick that entire thing from a cafe, a bougie cafe in London?
No, David. What I got was a Christmas present of a espresso machine. Which I'd never bought myself.
Why have you got a see-through mug?
A little see-through mug. That was because I knew
the least British thing you could have, I think.
I knew someone.
Shouldn't see the side of the tea. Yeah, I guess.
No,
you shouldn't have to see the side of your hot liquid. I don't think that's very un-British.
I know someone who ran a conference, and they were left with loads of conference stuff, and we took a load of conference stuff home. So now quite a lot of our household crockery.
Yeah.
Shit.
I actually don't have any here usually you've probably noticed, keen-eyed viewers of the podcast will notice that a lot of my glassware is actually festival cups that I've taken home from festivals, including ones that say "Do not take this home." And I'm like,
there's you get a lot of festival cups at yours. You get the Spider-Man 2 commemorative mug.
Yeah, lest we forget. Happy birthday, you're 30 and awesome.
That's faded. Look at that.
Hey, fuck you. What I was going to ask before you rudely insulted me is, what do you ask for when you get a haircut? World peace.
I go to somewhere I've never been, and I go, the usual. And I watch them go. And then they turn the razors on themselves, do their eyebrows. Here's the thing.
Turning the razors on themselves. That's actually horrible.
If I'm turning the razors on themselves. There's lots of bald men coming out.
Lots of barbers with loads of slit eyebrows.
Here's the thing.
I
like slit eyebrows.
Yeah.
I'd never.
Like he's 17.
Well, I never had it. Never did it when I was younger because I was a good boy, and then for a long while it was like, no, I have to look respectable for work, and it's like, well, but I'm doing underpaid shit, so fuck you. And now it's like, but I have to look respectable for acting. So I'm waiting for like an Edinburgh or something, and then doing
eyebrows.
Also, I've got
get a role where you need slit eyebrows, but it's like well paid and you have it all the time.
I've naturally got a bit of a bald spot in the middle of my eyebrow, which
you can kind of see mine just here.
Yeah. And we're two lucky chaps. We're you're in your 30s, I'm end of 20s, full heads of hair, the both of us. But balding eyebrows.
I mean, this recedes. This is a bit like the Norfolk coast. Won't be there in a while.
Yeah, but David, much like the Norfolk coast, by the time it's in the sea, will be dead because of global warming.
Is this enough? With James O'Donoghue and David Hoare.
When can you fuck my wife? And welcome to Is This Enough, the excellent and brilliant game show podcast that is both excellent and brilliant. My name is James O'Donoghue, and with me, as always, is David Hoare. This is the exciting game show where at any point we might just pump through that sound that makes you shit yourself. We might, or we might not. Or will we? We've come up with 3 rounds each, and neither of us knows what the other one has prepared. This week is, of course, Mental Elf Week here on the podcast. We are joined with an elf who's less of an elf, more of a psychic entity that brings about all that's wrong with the world. Ah, goddamn elf. This is, of course, episode 30. This podcast is 30, flirty and thriving. This podcast is now enraged by the trends of the youth and feels isolated on social platforms. This podcast is now a MILF. Those of you joining us, we're very glad that you found a home in this exceptionally stupid show, especially considering that as the show is now 30 and it is therefore in the age cohort that is now locked out of the housing market. And while you found a home in the show will never be able to afford a home of its own. There is, of course, all to play for with this show because there are prizes, there are forfeits. David, what's interesting? David just took out a lamp.
Okay, what's happened is that the first episode, I was going to mention this, that it's the first episode that I've used my standing desk standing up because I've got back pain that I was going to bring up later. You said something exciting and I waved my hands, not realizing that I would not only hit the lampshade, but completely knock it down. The air is now just full of dust going in my eye.
To be fair, it's hay fever season, so the air is always full of dust at the moment.
And all I could say is this was planned. I should also say at the beginning you got a bit of seamless podcasting in there, so that's a cool 10 points for you there, James. Well done. Bit of seamless podcasting for you.
There we go.
Look at this.
Done. Look at this. David, need I remind you, you're under oath. And there's all to play for because there's a prize for the winner and a forfeit for the loser.
Keep going.
I love shit like that. I think we've spoken before about one of the funniest things that I've seen on TV is Vic Reeves, apropos of nothing, on Shooting Stars, going, "Angelos, we are injury lawyers for you." I don't know why, but that's always stuff like that has always tickled me. Anyway, there's all to pay for. Last week I won and was given a bottle of hot sauce. Feeling like some hot stuff, baby, this evening. Yes, wings. That's right. I put it all over my LP of Paul McCartney's spin-off. And Paul McCartney's signed.
Like Joey.
Yeah, Paul McCartney's
like young Sheldon. Is this what we're going for? Is this it?
Right.
Are we the grand tour of the Beatles?
What band is the most young Sheldon of spin-off side projects?
S Club Juniors. One step closer to heaven, baby means one step closer to you. That is a bop that I was singing yesterday.
Fair enough. That's a good chord progression there. David lost and was given a bottle of Thames water. David, how are you getting on with your Thames water?
I'm empty.
Well, David, There is all to play for this week. We have prizes and forfeits. They are announced once more by it's your friend and mine. It's Robert Walpole.
Hi, Robert. What happened here is James overestimated what they needed to do with the technology there.
I really did. I really did. Hold on a second. Hold
The
on a
casual
second.
bit of seamless
There we go.
podcasting there.
Hello,
Another 10 points for you there, James.
What a seamless show! Almost as seamless as my silken breeches. It is I, Henry Walpole, the first Prime Minister. This week, if you win, you get 30 years of good luck. 30 years. My. If you lose, you get 30 years of good luck condensed into an intensely joyful minute. A high whose equal you shall forever be chasing. Imagine that, forever chasing an unobtainable high, David. Imagine such a thing. Except you don't need to imagine. You work in the arts. Bye-bye, boys!
Bye-bye, go Robert. Or Henry. Is it Henry or Robert?
David?
Yeah.
It's whatever he likes. And he likes...
Let's podcast.
This is...
That's like 30 points. You're well in the lead, James.
There we go.
We haven't even started round one yet.
Oh my God. Well, if we've not started round one, what can I say? But without further ado, it's over to you.
Round one.
Good morning, James. I bet you're wondering why we've called you here today. James, round one is called Mendral Knowledge. How do you feel about that? Every time I come up with a general knowledge pun, James responds in one of two ways, which is overwhelming disgust and very occasionally bewildering excitement.
David, what was the figure you gave me yesterday? Was it yesterday or the day before? I got the most harrowing message.
39 different ones that I thought were good. This includes ones that my girlfriend was sat there telling me was, and I came up with another one today. So
Jesus shit.
This is for 50 points. A question, James. Every good camper knows there's only two ways to fix things: WD-40 or duct tape.
Yes.
Do you know the rules?
Does it move? And does it move? No. Should it move? Yes. Duct tape. No. WD-40. Does it move? Yes. Should it move? No. Duct tape.
What we've seen here today is why James works in the arts. James, I'm going to tell you 5 different things, and you just have to tell me whether you would fix them with duct tape or WD-40. So it's for 50 points a question. Question number 1, James. What would you use to fix a broken heart?
So a broken heart. Oh, no, a broken heart is like in two. So I would say duct tape.
Correct. Very well
done.
There you
go.
Redeeming yourself in a very Dr. Nick-esque way.
Did duct tape start as a medical thing? I feel like a lot of things start as a medical thing and then end up being used for others. Like, was blue tack ever
a medical thing?
I feel like blue tack was a medical thing.
The only one of these I know about is that Post-it notes came about because a guy was trying to make an adhesive and he accidentally fucked up and made an adhesive that only stuck to one side of the paper. And he thought it was a flaw. And then I think somebody else may even have taken the pattern, but like they were like, oh, we'll just, maybe we can do this. And that's how Post-it notes came about. It was like an accident. But I don't know about duct tape origins. It says it was starring Vin Diesel. Okay, question number 2. James, what would you use to fix a broken nail?
A broken nail, again, duct tape.
Yes, you're so good at this. You really are redeeming yourself.
Come on.
Maybe you don't need to work in the arts after all.
Oh no. Oh no. It's you and fucking everyone saying that today.
Maybe you could retrain as a
in cyber.
Yeah. Question number 3, James. Very apt. How would you fix the NHS?
Tripling the investment currently, bringing it all into public hands, stripping away the way that the private sector gouges from it, being realistic that that will inevitably mean taxes and probably borrowing will have to go up, but seeing that as an investment rather than a sacrifice, and also fuck tons of duct tape.
Yeah, I would have accepted either, because you can duct tape all of the Tories together so that they can't move, and then you can get stuff done. Or cover all the Tories in WD-40, push them down Niagara Falls. Yeah. Really Scooby-Doo them.
Who heard that? Who first heard that running sound effect out in the wild and thought, that sounds like running? Yeah, that sounds like running. That's a leap. That's a real leap. That's like a bit of creative genius. And I'm not insulting that. I think that's a real bit of creative genius.
Well, yeah, the people who made like early like Mickey Mouse stuff and Looney Tunes and stuff, the thing of music going along with movement is called Mickey Mousing in the industry. Like it's actually called that sort of thing. Yeah, they were made by like amazing people like Chuck Jones.
Yeah.
From the Looney Tunes
as well.
Well, Chuck Jones really like instilled in people that like they shouldn't just be doing animation all the time. Like they needed other hobbies and they should have other what's the word? There's a word I'm thinking of that I can't. But like disciplines, have other disciplines that they incorporate into what they're doing. Like it was, I think you can look at like kids' cartoon making and be like, oh, it's just for children, doesn't really matter. But like so much effort goes into it. Just look at Bluey and see how much people are responding to it.
I was once in an art gallery and they were playing a cartoon on the wall, and there were lots of people watching the cartoon go, yeah. It's like, but it was like one of those like old 40s-esque like Looney Tunes things. It's like, no, this is like legitimately fucking sick. It's great.
So there's a lot of memes going around at the moment of like old cartoons had a really weird logic, and it's kind of like taking things to the nth degree. And I think people are like, oh, they were so silly, and I'm like, no, this is like really well written comedy.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's like on one of the first instances of you can have comedy that doesn't need to obey physics as well. And how are you gonna find
before that? Where's the physics?
But like before that, it's like people on a stage or stuff written down. But it's like you have a visual thing of how are you gonna fuck with gravity, and the thing of like running off a cliff and gravity doesn't kick until you look down. The first time someone wrote that, they must have been like, take the day off, mate. Take the day off. Put the kettle on, get the dildo out. You've done well. Cheers.
Yeah, we'll all know how James will be celebrating after today's podcast. James, question number 4. How would you fix the National Rail Service?
WD-40. You don't need high-speed rail. You need high-slip rail.
I mean, yeah, that's absolutely true. And question number 5. How would you solve the trolley problem?
You rescue the 5 people on the one, and then you get your duct tape out and you make a lasso with it. And you get that one guy left over, and you're like, yeah, you get him off.
It's a lasso for ladies and a ladso for men.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, James, at the end of that round, you have 230 points with your seamless podcasting. It's over to you for round 2.
Round 2.
Enchanté. David, before we crack on with round 2, we've actually got some messages in from some of the listeners. They've phoned to say congratulations on reaching episode 30. So I'm just going to play one for us now.
Hello, David. Hello, James. It's me, Sir Keir Starmer, just phoning in to say I hope you're having a very happy celebration of your 30th podcast. I hope that you even have another can of fizzy pop that you get from the back of the fridge. Look, you can treat yourselves, but once we're in government, it's time to tighten our belts.
Well, is Starmer encouraging us to take heroin again?
Yes. It's the only way you'll get through. That's the only way you'll get through the next few years. David, round 2 is called the round of the suburbs.
This is the round of the suburbs.
That was less than seamless.
Is it?
That was less than seamless, but this is the round of the suburbs, David. David and I both grew up in the commuter belt, and as such, we know a lot about PVC windows, local dramas about bin collections, and nascent proto-fascist social attitudes. David, do you look fondly on the suburbia?
I kind of do, because I feel like there's a lot of room for activities.
But do the suburbs look fondly on you? Well, we've got the results.
They hate me.
No, they don't. They don't. No. I've had some. I have some questions about suburbia. If you get the correct answer, I will deign it to you to have a portion of 365 points and a little crumb of serotonin. Now, as someone with ADHD, I know that dopamine is the main thing that you're after, and serotonin is like your nan buying you a dandy annual instead of the Beano one. Please do not react.
She did, legitimately.
Please do not react in the same way by spending 3 hours in your room flipping off the wallpaper until your uncle comes to tell you that you've ruined Christmas.
That happened to you as well?
yes, it did.
It's weird how similar we are, and yet we didn't meet until I was like 28.
What did happen was I had an aunt that wasn't really an aunt, well, a great aunt that wasn't really a great aunt called Rob, and she was like, "What would James like for Christmas?" And my mum said, he's quite into the Smiths, so maybe get him a Morrissey album. And she got me a James Morrison album. Because she heard Morrissey and then thought James.
From W.H. Smith's.
From W.H. Smith's, yes. And
James Morrison sing?
I can tell you right now, David, it's my favourite album.
Imagine if it was.
But what then later happened was
oh yes. Ironically, his lead single was called "You Give Me Something" (brackets that I didn't ask for).
So, David, here's some questions about suburbia. David, question number 1: what percentage of the UK population lives in the suburbs?
Well, there's Jesus of suburbia. Like, I don't know. Are we saying there's city, there's suburb, there's country? Is there 3? Are we just saying of the 3 elements?
And then there's the 4th we don't talk about.
Coastal fucks. I mean, I actually love them. They're great. And I love them.
The people who live underneath.
Australia? Okay. Most people live in the city. Some people live in suburbia. And even less people live in the countryside. I'm going to go with 30% live
David,
in the suburbs.
You are 50% off. David, the percentage of the UK population that lives in suburbs is 80%.
Right.
That's
weird.
Right?
It does sort of make sense, though. I guess. Okay.
So
this does kind of fall under geography. So this will start to hurt my head, and you will start me to get very agitated and mild sort of GCSE-based trauma sort of sleep. I can feel my eyes starting to twitch a little bit. So, question 2, please.
Question number 2, David. What's the biggest suburb in the world?
Is it Hoboken, New Jersey?
Well,
Is
you're in
it-
the right country.
Oh, San Francisco?
Oh no, David, it's Mesa in the USA. That's
Where's Mesa?
It's a whole mess of suburbs. I tell you that for free.
Is that where Mesopotamia is?
Yes, David. How many suburbs are in the UK?
Why do you? I wanted to do a fun podcast with you, James, and you just keep on being like, I know what David hates: geography questions.
Yes.
It sucks all the fun out of his life. Why do you want to fuck my wife and ask me
my
geography
wife
questions?
suck my life.
Oh, do a census. What was the question? I even forgot it. Like,
How many suburbs are in the UK?
this is triggering the wrong side of my ADHD. 80? I don't know.
I'm going to give you the points for that. It's 76.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to give you that.
It doesn't even feel like a victory. I just feel like I'm being attacked.
David, 76 suburbs in the UK. Question number 4. On what day do the bins go out in all of them?
Oh, Wednesday.
I'm going to give you the points for that because that's right in the middle of the week. So you're only going to be 2 wrong or 2 right. There we go. So, question number 5. If you ran through all the suburbs of the UK, how many people would see you and go, "Ha, you're brave"?
Is this a percentage or is this?
Yes,
figure?
as a percentage.
It's going to be high. Although it might have decreased a little bit now just because more and more like people are going jogging in the suburbs, I guess.
Yeah.
Jogging in the Suburbs is definitely a song by like a third wave punk band.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting juice in my mustache. 75%, James.
75. David, the correct answer is 80%, but I'm going to give you the points anyway. And finally, David, brave how? Brave why? Not because you're running, but because of what you're running towards. Big Gary, king of the commuters, who, with a rolled up issue of the Metro, will slay you like a dragon unless you defeat him in the only way possible. What is that, David? What is that?
The only way to defeat Gary?
Yes.
Depends on which day of the week it is, I guess. Because if it's like a Sunday, just give him like 6 pints and he'll be sleepy.
Sleepy
But
Gary.
if you give him 6 pints on a Friday, you will lose.
If you give him 6 pints on a Friday, that's an invitation for cheap cocaine.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe his like aunt's coming round.
I'm sorry, David. I can't give you the points for that because the only way you could defeat Gary is by collecting his bins on time and in a quiet and orderly fashion. At which point he will knight you as a knight of the branch line while stating the ceremonial words, "Nice one, mate. Cheers." So, David, at the end of that round, you have 1,095 points.
Oh.
So, David, now that's all said and done, I think it might be over to you for round 3.
Round 3. My. James, round 3 is called How Aren't You?
Stable. I don't know. We're at the portion of the show where I shall go onto full screen.
James, that was a fake round, of course. How are you, James?
Unstable. I am doing okay. I do have a lot of instability in my life at the moment. What with being in the arts and my day job deciding to go a bit wibbly. But enough of that. I'm good. So since we last recorded,
there's a lot about us that we're like, I'm unstable, but I'm good.
I'm good. Currently, I've been trying to get on top of my anxiety, so I've started to do lots of CBT.
Oh,
This is the only time that I've been like given CBT stuff from therapy that's actually been like, that's an appropriate thing to do in these circumstances.
Yeah.
Because the last few times the NHS will be like, hey, how about some CBT? And it's like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I need some of the good stuff up here. Nah, little graph isn't going to cut it, mate. No, it's not. Little graph isn't for me.
Somebody, you're like, my house is on fire, and they're like, well, do you want a Yakult? You're like, I guess it is moisture. It's just not enough. But now you need that Yakult.
Yeah.
Yakult can do you good.
My house is on fire. Have you thought of exercise?
Have you thought about it? Yeah.
I've been thinking of running away from this fire. That's good.
Just don't worry about it, mate. So you got CBT.
I got CBT. Can't be traced.
Are you in the newborn identity, whatever?
My, Mr.
The born gender identity. Oh no!
Oh, Born's gone woke.
Oh no!
Someone
I thought he
called-
was a sleeping agent. How could he go woke? Okay, I'm just gonna do this.
Look at standing desk David over here.
Giving myself a permanent standing ovation.
I don't do stand-up comedy. I do standing ovation comedy. That's going to be my email I send to bookers now.
I do standing desk comedy.
Yeah. So yeah, and then trying to focus on the positive. So since we recorded last, I did a gig in the lovely town of Bristol for Eva Binderman, who is great. She runs Scrambled Comedy as well as Sydney and Sheedon.
Yeah.
Check both those nights out. They got their gold dust. And so I did a lovely gig for her. Caught up on all the bloody gossip and I'm going home in Bristol. I'll tell you what, have you heard?
Because have you heard all the gossip about people who you don't know about?
Yeah. Tony Flimbums started a night in Barry Hoojit's old place. That's not going to go down well.
Oh no, not Barry's.
Yeah, I can't get booked for comedy up your rectum anymore because I did a gig for Laugh Till You Can't Anymore, please. This is what conversations between comedians sounds like. Ignore Baby Reindeer. That's not what comedy is. What comedy is two people going, have you done Uncle Winklebottom's comedy rambunctiousness? No. Oh, it's good.
James, I'm just going to try and find the note on my phone that I keep on producing to people, which is for a bit of content they haven't made yet, which is, I don't know if you can read this, but questions people regularly ask comedians. And it's by year. So 2005, have you thought about going on live at the Apollo? 2012, have you thought about going on Britain's Got Talent? 2015, have you thought about going on Taskmaster? And then 2024, but it's going to have like, I don't know, maybe like this sort of lighting. And it's, have you seen Baby Reindeer? Because you get asked about that. It's really odd. It's really, really odd.
Yeah. So,
like Backdraft was on. Did all the firefighters get asked if they'd seen Backdraft?
They had.
Do all policemen get asked? Is it like The Bill?
No, not anymore. Not anymore because the bill's over. The bill came due. And then also, so while I was in Bristol, saw cheeky David Hoare, and cheeky David Hoare's dog was so excited to see me that that she pissed herself.
That's true.
And she's here tonight.
And she's here tonight. She's basically asleep again. But she saw you and Eva and met Eva and needed a pee, but also rolled on her back to get a belly rub from you. Just let it all go.
Let it all go. Let it all hang out. So David, in a
Just
way,
put her down and she went, "Look." It was great.
So David, in a way, what I'm asking is, have you seen Baby Reindeer?
No.
Have you not?
No. So I saw the advert when it turned on Netflix, and I saw that it was Richard Gadd, and I was like, I'm aware of that guy. He's got a Netflix show, and there was like dark comedy, and I'm like, okay, Richard Gadd's got a dark comedy sitcom, is it? And then as it went on, the more it went on the advert, the more my girlfriend was like, I don't want to watch this. I really don't want to watch this. I really don't want to watch this. And then people putting up very vague things of like, oh, have you seen Baby Reindeer? Like, Richard Gadd's got a show. And this was in the comedy world. And then all of a sudden, random ass people coming up to me and being like, have you seen Baby Reindeer? And I'm like, no. And then a friend of the show, Danny Johns, put up a post about how she'd accidentally watched it with her nan. And her nan was like, is he putting his finger up that guy's bum? And I was like, what is this show? So guess what I did, James? I did my favorite pastime.
You read the synopsis on Wikipedia.
Exactly.
This fucking guy. The classic David Hoare move.
It's the classic David Hoare move. And then finished reading the synopsis and felt horrible for 3 days. I didn't even watch the show. I just read the synopsis with people being like, have you seen Baby Reindeer? And I was like, no, why would you bring it up? It's horrid. So
that's a hot take. That's the hottest take I've heard. And there's lots of hot takes out there. Believe you me, because it's got the perfect intersection of based on a true story, true crime people, and then the possibility for people on the internet to make someone's life worse, which they've really taken that initiative. Well done, everyone.
More than one.
Real.
I mean, I don't really dwell on it too much, but I saw an article which was other people this woman has stalked that aren't Richard Gadd. Have you seen that list?
I know that Keir Starmer's.
Yeah, Keir Starmer was one.
She's like, I'm going to ruin your life, Keir Starmer. But it's also like, this is a thing of, this person is clearly not well. And it's like,
and he platformed the thing. We're talking about Piers Morgan.
It's like clearly not well, clearly like has delusions of grandeur, and the internet has decided, well, what if we make this the most important thing in the world? So all those delusions of grandeur feel justified, and the boundaries between fiction and reality get melded, so we can just keep contributing to this person's crisis. The
only bit of like weird joy I've got out of it is Matt Ewins posted a clip from his show, and in Matt Ewins, if you've not seen Matt Ewins before, possibly the funniest video editor of all time. Definitely go follow on social media, but go see their shows because they trigger it all live and there's interactive stuff. But some of his stuff is filmed with his friends in the background, and a bunch of stuff he filmed with his friends when they were not as famous as they are now. So you can go see some stuff with John Kearns just appears, but he uploaded a clip recently and everyone's like, that's Richard Gadd. And just in a Matt Ewins, like absolutely the silliest thing in the world clip. And everyone's like, that's the Baby Reindeer guy.
Yeah. It's also meant that people feel more than welcome to unleash their fucking impressions of that one ill woman.
Yes, sorry, I've just noticed there's a hair.
You've got one long hair.
I could just see it on
long
the
hair
camera,
growing out the corner of your head.
Yeah. Sorry, impressions of
a real life ill woman.
It's absolutely fucked, by the way.
It's really fucked.
By the way, it's absolutely fucked.
Which also leads me to
ridiculous.
To one of my favorite things to talk about, which is people I've found who make stuff online who I decide to hate. And there's this guy who does an impression of he's with his mum, and his mum will start yelling at him for something. And it always ends with her yelling, I could lose my job. Some of you listening will have seen this guy. he's clearly got a very stressed out mum, but he's now decided to take the piss out of his stressed out mum and this woman who is unwell. It's unwell. And it's, again, going back to the metaphor of house on fire. Her house is ablaze, and she is in a mindset where she goes, "No, it's not," and everyone's going,
Yeah, I've just got a very warm house.
How is she saving on her central heating? It's icky. The whole thing is, well, no, icky is like, I don't know. There's icky. This is grim.
Keep it light. Keep it tight. Please. No, fuck my wife. Well, James, at the end of that round, I think that you are wonderful. And I'm sorry that there are factors in your life that aren't doing so well.
And I'm sorry that your wife is being fucked right now.
Yes. So I'm going to give you 6,000 points.
Whoa!
Putting you on 6,230 points.
My God,
James, it's over to you for round 4.
Round 4.
James, 4 is called "Have You Seen Baby Reindeer?" No, please don't. That's not good.
David. Before we go into round 4, I've got another bit of phone in for us now. Right. Let's have a listen.
Hello, very happy to be phoning in. It's me, Michael Holmill, just phoning to say I'm delighted with how the podcast is going. One note though, where the fuck am I in all of these celebrations? If you don't invite me on soon, I will kill again. Ta-ta!
Oh no, it was one of the 2 voices I do on this show.
It was Michael Whole remit of impressions.
For a second, I thought I needed to press this button. Luckily, I didn't.
Hello, boys. I'm the first Prime Minister, Michael Holmill.
So, David, round 4 is, of course, called How Are You? It's round 4. How are you?
Well, James, at the moment, part of the reason I'm stood up and not sat down is because my back is injured. Injured man in his 30s. He just has to get used to it.
That's how you live now, motherfucker. Sorry.
I think I've been having a pretty decent year. And I've been working on myself quite a lot. And working quite hard. And then last week I was supposed to do 7 gigs in 6 days, but I ended up doing and one of the days I wasn't doing a gig. I ended up doing 6 gigs, including a day where I doubled up, where I did a mums and babies gig in the morning and then a gig in the evening. And a bunch of other stuff. So I was very busy. And then did a driving to a middle of nowhere gig in Devon where the roads were absolutely just narrow, filled with potholes.
Oh.
Every single turn was nearly a right angle. And sat now to go 60. And the local behind you was like, why aren't you going 60? I'm going to try and overtake you when there's only a millimeter around you. You can see I'm already getting stressed burps just thinking about it. Anyway, and then I did a preview on Sunday that was one of those you need to do a lot of work between now and the beginning of August. It wasn't horrific, but it was this isn't as good as you think it is. And then there was another factor, which I'll get into in a second. But basically, I did a stretch in the morning yesterday. It was supposed to be my first day off in 7 days. And I did the stretch, and the whole of this area of my back just went, nope. And I was just and then I had therapy in the evening, and she was like, what's happened? And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's stress. And my girlfriend started telling me what I've been saying in my sleep again, which is how I entered therapy in the first place. The main contributing factor turned out there was a weird sort of weird, like high-pitched noise that I genuinely thought was tinnitus the first time I heard it. And then
We
I
had
heard
a conversation a few days ago about tinnitus.
Yeah.
Did you think that was tinnitus? And now it's turned out.
So I basically thought I had tinnitus, and then it kept on going, and then I realized that I could actually, it was kind of directional tinnitus, which is not how tinnitus works. And then my girlfriend came in and she was like, that high-pitched noise is annoying, isn't it? And I was like, okay, you can hear it too. And it was becoming more frequent. And then it took us like several days to work out. And I basically was supposed to be preparing for said preview. And I couldn't, because I was basically just sat in this room, and every like
that's such a
5
twist.
seconds was just like, but like way more higher than that.
Is that the acclaimed British character actor Susan Twist? Because that is a twist.
And I walked around the neighborhood trying to pinpoint it. And long story short, like our neighbors had a fox deterrent that you can't really hear under the age of 35, even though I can hear it. And it was apparently only supposed to go off when a fox goes near it, because they've had foxes shitting in there.
Because he has baby rain ears. If you're listening, Netflix.
Shitting in their drains. But they didn't know it was going off. So
I mean, we're all shitting in our drains, but with a few steps.
So what happened was,
removal.
I actually spoke to a guy, and I went, "Is it your house making the weird high-pitched noise?" And he went, "No, I don't know anything about that." Thought it wasn't him. My girlfriend was like triangulating it from our house, looking over, trying to work out what the fuck was going on. She went and spoke to somebody at the same day, and like spoke to someone saying, "Have you got like a fox deterrent or something?" And she was like, "Yeah." And it was like, "Can you get it turned down or turned off?" And I was like, "Did you get them to do it immediately?" And my girlfriend was like, "I'm not good at confrontation." So she basically left, and then nothing was done. And I swear it became more consistent and slightly more loud. And then like there was like a WhatsApp group of our entire building trying to figure out what to do about it. And I ended up, even though they said they were going to get it sorted, I went round and I was like, "Is your house making the high-pitched noise?" And she went, "No. Although a lot of people have been saying that. We do have a fox deterrent up there." And it just told me everything about how posh this person was, that they couldn't hear it. So I didn't think it was a problem. And they were like, "Oh yeah, well yeah, we've got a fox deterrent, but we can't hear it." And I was like, "Cool. Can you turn it off, because I can hear it constantly?" And she went, "Oh yeah, when my husband, I'll see if I can get him to." She was very nonchalant about it. And I keep on replaying the moment in my head, because I just went, "What's the time frame on that?" And every time I find her being trying to be like, "This isn't really my issue, so I don't care," she suddenly, and then like within the hour, I saw her husband, who was the guy I said, "Is it your house making a big beep?" But obviously he could hear it, just climbing across the roofs and taking it off. But if you imagine, like, I don't want to like be dismissive of actual forms of torture that are used for torture, but that is a form of torture, I believe, playing a high-paced noise constantly without
it's
and I couldn't concentrate on anything, and it was ruining my sleep and everything, and I didn't know how to get it sorted, and people had been to ask them and they weren't doing anything about it. And as a result, my shoulder hurts. For the audio listener there, James was so flabbergasted by that story that they knocked over their microphone. Mic drop there from James.
A little mic drop. Hello, my name is Michael Drop, and oh dear, I'm going down.
There's a third voice. So I had all of that stress, and then I did the fucking preview. I didn't get to prepare as much, and I just wasn't in the right mindset, and it was warm outside. So the show is going pretty good. It was quite a difficult crowd, and I don't know whether just to like, I do need work anyway. It's a bit of an impetus sort of thing where I need to just keep going, because you want it to work on good crowds and bad crowds. But yeah, it's just a bit of a weird one. And then yesterday morning, when I was supposed to just be relaxing, having done like 6 days of gigs, lots of traveling, lots of socializing, I ended up oh shit, I forgot to tell you the greatest thing. I'll just add that to the list of things. Yeah, I just ended up pulling my back in amongst all of that. One of the fun things I did do in the week was I recorded another episode of Smirsh Pod where we did Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, where we slagged off another dinosaur movie for an hour and a half. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts. Probably in the same place you get this podcast.
You won't need to go far.
Yes. The other thing I forgot to mention, and I can't remember if I told this to you, James, but one of the reasons I was very busy this week was we'd separated out a whole day. I'd left a whole day free to go to Bath to hang out with my girlfriend's family who traveled over from America, including the couple whose wedding I went to, where I told one of the groomsmen that in England, when you down a drink, other people go, lads, lads, lads. Now, James knows this story. For those of you who don't know, I told one guy this, and another one of his friends arrived, and he went, oh, because I went, lads, 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 for chanting, and he went, what is lads? So I kind of explained, like, when you're being a bit laddie and chanting, and then another friend appeared, and he went, hey, man, explain that lads thing to him. And I was like, I explained it again, and then, like, his groom's party and friends from the wedding were just slowly arriving at this bar, so, like, by the end of the evening, there was about 10 drunk Americans being like, lads, lads, lads. I thought that was the end of it. Went away, went to like a dead president's house. Went to spend a whole day nowhere near the wedding party, and then got to like the rehearsal dinner, and one of the groomsmen just came up to me and went, hey man, that lads thing's really caught on. I thought it was silly, so I went and explained that to my girlfriend's cousins who I was hanging out with, and it turns out they were like, what is lads? And so I had to explain to them. So then there's two parties at a wedding, and then the next day, more and more drunk people, more and more people coming to this wedding who weren't there being explained lads. I have videos that I can, hang on, let me see if I can get the audio of this up. But yeah, basically of people chanting lads at an American wedding. And yeah, it was basically at the end of the wedding when they were like leaving the building and they made like a tunnel of sparklers so that they went through the tunnel, and it was really cool. Everyone was chanting their surname, and then as soon as the door shut, the entire chanting, somebody shouted lads, and I'm going to say about 40 to 50 people were just chanting the word lads at this American wedding. And I was like, oh, I think I need to leave this country because I might have ruined this person's wedding. And that was the last time I spoke to these people in person until this week. And then the wife, who's not even related to my girlfriend, was his wife, was like, oh, everybody said you were the funniest thing at our wedding. And that's like 5 years of like a small anxiety being like, I think I ruined their wedding. Like suddenly relieved. Anyway, so Americans visiting Bath, what do they think we should do? Get on a boat and go down the Avon with some Pims. And so... Can you hear that? Chanting the word lads a lot with the cousin, and he now has a 2-year-old child.
Lads.
So we taught a 2-year-old lads whilst going down the Avon with some Pims, and apparently the next day he got to the airport at 8:30 in the morning, and an English person walked past and was like, "You're right, lad," to one of his friends, and this 2-year-old in the middle of an airport, apropos of nothing, a little 2-year-old American child started going, lads, 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 lads. Still going. The ongoing saga of the lads.
Of the lads.
Yes.
Well, David.
That's how I am.
After that saga of the lads, I'm going to give you the price of a lager of the lads in the year our Lord 2024. So that'll be another 7,000 points. David. David, without further ado, it's over for you for everyone's favourite. It's round 5.
Round 5.
Yeah.
Before we go into round 5, David, I just another we talk about former presidents' home.
yeah.
Just got something in just now. Let's have a listen.
David, James, it's me. Just phoning in. Just wanted to phone in, folks. That's all I'm doing. I'm just phoning in. Just phoning in. The people are saying I'm doing more, but it's just a phone call. An innocent phone call. A perfect phone call. Some are saying it. David, James, I just wanted to phone in and say big fan. Very, very big fan of the podcast. I was on it. Best episode. Some are saying it. Just wanted to say hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. Also, I'm in prison. Please, come and help.
We
James,
recorded this.
I'd just like to play the beginning of that because say again.
We recorded this a few days in the past, so this is speculative for when this comes out on Thursday.
Oh
so
yes.
Who is to say?
Imagine if he is by that point.
That would be so fucking funny.
You'd be like the new Simpsons predicting the future. I'd just like to play this again. It sounds like he is secretly a Yorkshireman at the top of this. Ooh.
David, James, it's me.
David! David! Hey, let me tell you, folks.
You're going to impeach me whilst I'm drinking a stout. James, round
They call him
5.
Sloppy Joe.
Round 5 is called There's No Such Thing as Bad News theme tunes. All news theme tunes are bops. We can all agree, I think.
They're all bangers. They're all fucking dirty bangers.
There's a moment of reprieve just before you find out how awful the world is, where you're like, nice one. So to celebrate this and to test James on how broadly they're getting their news, is James in a bubble getting all their news from a pigeon in their local neighborhood, or are they listening to a diverse type of news so that they can get information from all sides and work out what's actually going on? So James, I'm going to play you a legitimate news theme tune, and you just have to tell me for 5,000 points which channel this theme tune is from. Do you understand? Are you prepared? For the non-visual listener here, James has put both thumbs up themselves. Question number 1. James, which channel is this news theme tune from? ITV News sucks.
Oh, it's a diss track on ITV. I am going to say it's ITV's old nemesis. It's BBC News.
James, I'm sorry. That is not the case. That is, of course, Channel 4. Having a fucking go, isn't it? They think they're well clever. They think they're well clever. So they're having a go. Oh, you watching Coronation Street? Then getting your news, are you? That's what they sound like. That's what Channel 4 News sounds like.
You ain't fucking ready for Jon Snow, bitch.
James, question number 2. Which channel is this news theme tune from? You won't understand BBC if you've not seen movie A and BBC.
It's like a news channel that's there to make you feel positive about the world. So presume GB News, because they're very right wing, so they must be very happy with how it's all going.
And they love reggae.
Hello and welcome to Nigel Farage's show on GB News.
It's reggae with Farage. Did you? This is a bit of offhand. I should say correct. Well done. That's 5,000 points for you there. But there's a comedian who I was about to say is no longer with us. He's not dead. He's just gone to Australia to be a doctor. Called Reardon DJ, who like won a bunch of awards and was basically better than all the other comedians in the Southwest.
He was annoyingly good. He was
insanely good, and was just like, "Oh, I'm doing this for a bit, and then I'm going to go become a doctor."
Yeah.
And was doing like a 7-year medical degree. So rather than being like better than all of us, is with comedy is being better than all of us by saving lives. He was also
excuse me,
had no context for popular culture and just hadn't heard of like Take That and stuff. But I mean, the first question they asked me is, "Do you like cricket?" But genuinely, he had a radio show in hospital radio called Reggae with Reardon.
It's one of my favourite things about him.
I think about it all the time. This is for nobody other than people who remember Reardon DJ.
Remember Reardon DJ?
You guys, you remember Reardon? Who remembers the 90s?
We were talking about comedians.
Check out Reardon DJ clips online if they're still up there. I don't know if they will be.
You were talking about comedians in GB News, so for a second I thought we were going to talk about Paul Cox. But
no. Can if you want.
The Trigger Pod freaks. Anyway.
James, the final question in this round. Question number 3. Which channel is this news theme tune from?
Krishna guru-murthy is a slag. Krishna guru-murthy is a slag.
So, my thinking on this, either it's ITV shooting back at Channel 4, or it's Channel 5 trying to get in there, because the whole puerile thing about like calling someone a slag, that's very Channel 5. Because you know, there was a show on Channel 5 called Live from Studio 5 for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was partly presented by Ian Wright. That was part of their news remit.
Yeah.
That was like legally they had to have a news show, and they had like the most soft touch sort of just people sat around a desk chatting shit.
I've forgotten about that, and now I've remembered about that. Thank you, James. James reminded me there of things I'd previously forgotten about.
So I'm going to say it's ITV. It's ITV shit popping back.
Correct, James. Actually, no, sorry. That is no. What I'm on about is of course.
Fuck.
I forgot. Let's just remind ourselves of it.
Krishna guru-murthy is a slag. Krishna guru-murthy is a slag.
Yeah, the channel that news was from was, of course, CBeebies. At the end of that round, James, you've got 11,230 points. James, it is over to you for round 6.
Round 6.
Well, David, seeing as it's round 6, I'm fucking done. Goodbye, chumps.
Bye. Oh, no replacement? Just... Oh. I feel like we're about to get a clown playing noughts and crosses. For those of you that can't see this, we've got a test card. Noughts and crosses with a clown. I hope we don't get DMCA'd for this music. I'll just review the music so we don't get DMCA'd. I think this music is fine. You know? It's not quite the bop. If Kendrick Lamar and Drake rapped over it, I don't think anyone would care. Talking of old topical news. I know I don't usually know what's going on, folks, but I know even less of what's going on now. Anybody got any Sudoku we can do whilst we wait?
Is this thing on?
It is, yeah, it's on, yeah. Is that who I think
it is? Hang on a second.
Face reveal!
David, is that you?
Friends and enemies, welcome to the show. Your friend and mine. It's Rodney Pump. It's the face of Rodney Pump. I met Rodney in a pub in Bristol called the White Hart. He was handing out illegal DVDs.
What a guy! What a pub! What a DVD!
I think it was Shrek 6.
Shrexist. Shrexium for a dream.
How you doing, Rodney?
I'm good, David. This shirt fucking stinks. A little bit tighter than it used to be as well.
Rodney, I was looking at you being like, you're not quite just launching into your usual tirade. You look a bit uncomfortable.
Who does a costume change for a podcast?
No one. No, I don't know. No one would. You'll hear. You are you. You are you. I am me. Crosby, Stills and Nash.
There we go. There we go. Look, it's me. Look what age hath wrought. It's your old pal, Rodney Pump, movie mogul and friend to the stars. I just came back from the pictures, and boy, are my arms tired. But after stowing away my haul of my latest art theft, I went to see the movies. And boy, are my arms tired from applauding, from clapping. I love the pictures. Do you know why? The magic, the silver screen, the stick on the floor. It transports you to a world where anything is possible. Maybe Helen Mirren is a quiet yet dignified proctologist. Maybe Chris Pride is a brave, swashbuckling proctologist. Maybe Chris Pratt is also a proctologist. I love the movies, but more importantly, I love proctology. Thank you very much. So, David.
Yeah.
I am going to test your knowledge. I'm going to see if you can identify of movies. I'm going to see if you can identify what movies these iconic lines come from. Bonus points if you can tell me the actors. Bonus points if you can get me to the proctology department. You know what time travel does to your undercarriage? Try getting that fungal infection from the future. Over there, that shit can talk to you. Even worse, it talks back.
So, David, it's like a fungal infection I haven't even spoken about to him or on the show. Rodney, can you move your mic slightly closer because you're very raspy?
Fuck you.
Go for it.
So, David, seeing as that little freak did a musical intro to his last round, I'm gonna do one for mine. Bop, 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 bop. It's Rodney Pump, friend to the stars. Here they are, in fancy cars. I hope they're wearing more than their bras. Nice to see you, Clooney. It's Rodney Pump, friend to the stars. David.
Yeah.
What movie is this from? And if you can tell me who said it, it's a little point. David. Right?
I mean, it clearly isn't a character actor because James couldn't do a fourth voice.
Fuck that guy. David, who said this? Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. What's that from? What film and who said it?
Is there an Angry Beavers movie?
There is. I directed it.
What's it called?
It's called These Beavers Are Very Angry. Give them space. They require space from you.
Is it? If it's Angry Beavers in Space, is it Clark Gable?
It is indeed Clark Gable. Do you know what film?
I want to say Riverdance. Is it Angry Beavers the movie? No, it's Gone with the Wind, right?
It is, of course, Gone with the Wind, Clark Gable. So that is 90,000 90,000 per correct answer. So you've got yourself 180,000 points there.
Thank you very much.
David,
Question number 2. All these things will fade in time like tears in rain.
Well, if James has anything to go by, it's Donald Trump. But James isn't here. It's you. So it's
I've never heard of this guy. Donald Trump.
Or like other famous Donalds, he's famous for not wearing his trousers. So
I heard he was a real quack.
So
I hope he breaks his spine jumping into a big pool of coins.
Oh yeah, I mean that is Scrooge McDuck, but that's fine.
Fuck.
Yeah. No, duck. So Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner?
It is, of course, Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner. Rutger Hauer's your father. That's another 180,000 points.
That was so funny. My camera went out of focus.
David,
God, yeah.
What is this from? I'm going to kill you all.
Is it the DuckTales movie?
David, that's ridiculous. No, it was from Care Bears, the movie. Any guesses as to the actor?
I have seen Care Bears the movie. Was it Sunshine Bear?
No, it was, of course, Orson Welles. Sounded more like this. I'm going to kill you all. I don't want to say rainbow power. You know, I directed Citizen Kane. I'm the fucking planet one from Transformers, the movie.
Omnicron.
French champagne. What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah. When robots have to complain about something they've seen on telly, they call Omnicron. I like this walking around business. It's good. I can tell a joke and then just fuck off.
He's got limited responsibility. David, what movie is this for? Oh, my, where's he gone now? Where's he gone now? Oh, no. David, oh. What's this from?
We're actually on limited time, but I'm having a lot of fun.
What? We really are. Me, that clock is a ticking. What movie is this from?
I don't know. You haven't told me. Oh, this? It was a hand gesture. Can you do it one more time?
No, just.
Oh, silence. Oh, The Artist.
No, David, it's from Nosferatu. That's a silent movie. David, what about this? What about this one? Please leave the cinema. This is a fire drill.
Is it Backdraft?
No, David. It is The Beach by M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night still got it. What a twist. And finally, I'm going to shoot you with my gun, which is also a metaphor for my penis.
Oh, that is Transformers the movie.
No, David.
Because Megatron was a gun and a robot, so he would have had robot cock, but he's also a gun.
No.
Oh.
David, it was, of course, James Bond. All of them. So, David, at the end of that round...
Any clues as to who the next James Bond's going to be, Rodney?
Well, let's just say James is not just out of the room for a trip to the toilet.
Hmm?
He's also taking the bins out.
It's not even Wednesday.
And on the way out, I hope he bumps into Aaron Taylor Johnson. Because I like that guy. The constriction of the waistcoat has made me slightly more puppet-like than usual.
I just realized you
Anyway.
didn't speak there. It's really worth watching the video episode this week, folks, because there's a lot going on.
It's got costume changes.
So many camera gags.
David,
At the end of that round, I thought I would reward your efforts.
Did you have a stroke there, Rodney?
I've had a stroke. It's why I can travel through time. David, at the end of that round, I thought I'd reward your efforts with a bit of an insight into my latest project. It's a sneak peek, if you will sneak a peek. I won't tell. I'm making a biopic about Alex Salmond, the former First Minister of Scotland, starring Tom Cruise. Let's have a listen. Hey, you! I'm the King of Scotland! Hey! What a guy!
Christopher MacArthur Boyd.
Well, here comes the skeleton! I'm Tom Cruise!
Christopher
Sure
MacArthur
would
Boyd.
be unfortunate if earlier in this episode someone was complaining about poor Scottish accents.
Christopher MacArthur Boyd there, mildly responsible for this podcast taking place. Because he was like, have you got a podcast? I said, no, I've got a few ideas. He said, get on with one. And if it's good, then that's great. And if it's not good, then you at least know how to do a podcast. So this was clearly the latter. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you very much, Christopher MacArthur Boyd. David, I'm off now. I'm going to hand you over to yet more polite music.
God. I don't know about you folks, but I really needed this today. Really, really, really needed this. If any of you have any New York connections rounds you want to send me, I don't know if this is a good time to promote my Edinburgh show. I think it's good that James's mic wasn't turned off by Rodney whilst they were I don't know, doing whatever they're up to. Oh,
well, who was that incredibly handsome man?
Oh, you've been looking at me the entire time.
Oh dear Lord.
God.
Well, David, I think we should wrap up and get to the results. Here's the results theme right now.
The bot.
Well, David, I'm just looking at the scores and I'm blown away. But I tell you who's not blown away. I tell you who's keeping fucking cool. It's the Prime Minister. Hello, boys! Just me to give you the scores at the end. Boys! At the end of that round, James O'Donoghue has got 11,230 points. Well done, James.
Oh, well done, James.
Very good, but not particularly competitive when you consider that David Hoare has 548,095 points. Oh, well. I hope that James uses his intense amount of good luck to maybe learn another voice. Bye-bye.
Bye, Mr. Warple.
This guy, I hope that he gets stuck the other side of the Thames because they haven't built Westminster Bridge yet. This motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, David.
Yeah.
The end of the show.
But they do regular boats across the Thames all day because that's the only way they could do it.
Yeah, that was it. There was a industry of ferrymen, or ferrymen as they used to be called. Jay Foreman has a whole series of videos about this. That guy. Anyway,
Jay Foreman's fucking fantastic.
Very good. Check out them. But wait to the end of the thing.
Very
first.
good. Check. Are they a supermarket?
Yes, I went to see their latest show, and let me tell you, that's his funniest joke. David, at the end of the show, you've won. I hope you have your 30 years of good luck. That's great.
Thank you. It's like the opposite of the England football team, isn't it? 30 years of good luck.
3 lines on the CD case.
Mm-hmm.
So, David, where on earth can people find you?
I think they can find me in the lift.
You need some lift music for that.
About David Hoare, LOL, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please check out Smirshpod. Please come see my Edinburgh show. It's from the 2nd of August till the 25th of August at the Hill Street Theatre at 2:15 p.m. In Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Fringe. Please come along and get tickets from the Fringe website. James, where can we find you? That's me. And James.
So you can find me at Is That James O on Insta and Let the James Begin on TikTok. And if you've enjoyed the show, follow us on our socials. We're at Is This Enough Pod. And give us a fucking email, for God's sake, at isthisenoughpodcasting@gmail.com. Please
either message us on the socials or email us to tell us what your favourite round was from episode 30.
Flirty.
Please tell us what it was. And James, I think that was a lovely bit of seamless podcasting. We're past the point you can get points for it. But you do get some Soylent Green. So yes, James, do you think this was enough?
Oh, David, I would say it was... It's the end of the sentence.
Way too much. Let's leave now. Bye-bye. From me.
This is a round 5 production.
Round 5.
Let's finish this. Let's finish it now. This is the post-credits.
This one was weird and cerebral.